How are you guys feeling about the Niners win?
So happy.
How do you guys feel about the Niners win?
Huh?
How do you feel about the Niners win?
Oh, good. How you feel?
Good, good. You guys? Good. Good game?
Yes.
Hi friends, my name is Ashley Aireonna and I just got done watching the 49ers Saints here in New Orleans. What a beautiful, amazing city full of so much culture and great food. But 49ers win 2-0 on the road to start the season. The last time they did that was in 2023, not to get ahead of ourselves, but they went to the Super Bowl that year. 49ers beat the Saints 26-21. Mac Jones started in place of Brock Purdy, who has turf toe. According to Matt Mayoko, Brock Purdy might be back as soon as next week against the Cardinals. But according to Ian Rappaport, very nice. According to Ian Rappaport, Brock Purdy might miss 3 games, so not just the Cardinals game, but then the following game as well. Getting mixed signals from both of those guys because according to Ian Rappaport, his sources are with the 49ers and saying that with that turf toe, it's very bad. Obviously, I think I told you guys, not only has a shoulder injury, but also turf toe. If it's on his throwing foot, he can't really plant when he steps forward, but if it's on his back foot, it's the same thing because you gotta get a lot of torque out of turning your toe. So we're not sure, by the way, what foot, because Kyle Shanahan refuses to tell the media. He said all he has to do is say that he is injured and his foot is injured. But Mac Jones started in place of Brock Purdy, threw for 279 yards, which is crazy. I'm gonna go over here because I got embarrassed. Mac Jones threw for 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. When is the last time Brock Purdy did that, you might ask? It was against the Eagles. So it's been a couple years. Incredible performance by Mac Jones. Started out really slow, but then got into a great rhythm, really spread the ball around, which is something last year I was saying the 49ers needed to do more, and they did it in this game. Like I said, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He did have a fumble at the end of the third. He was 26 for 29. Highlights from the game. First of all, first round draft pick, number 11, Michael Williams, looked excellent today. He was a monster. To save the game at the very end, Nick Bosa had a turnover on downs and a sack, and that was really on Michael. Michael ran back into Spencer Rattler's lap, and Rattler had nowhere to go but to be sacked by Nick Bosa. So great game from Michael Williams. Like I said, great game from Mac Jones. Nick Bosa. Fred Warner is the best linebacker in football. He led the team with tackles and was all over the place. The offenses couldn't do anything. How are you feeling about the game?
Oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
We lost. I mean,
Yeah, I was putting on his
how
hand,
you
so.
feeling about it? You
Good.
excited about it?
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry. Okay. 49ers defense was clutch. Like I said, at the end of the game, we had Fred Warner and Nick Bosa throughout the game. Both had forced fumbles. Upton Stout had a strip sack. He did have some penalties. Upton Stout was very up and down. I felt like he had some really good highlight plays. He was blitzed a ton by Robert Saleh, but that was also getting him beat when Spencer Rattler was able to get out of it. He had a couple long completions because Upton Stout was in the backfield trying to sack him and not able to cover his guy. But I take the good with the bad because it also, like I said, resulted in a strip sack by Upton and just a lot of pressure, at least to start the game. I think as the game went on, the Saints were a little bit more prepared for that move, and I maybe wish that in halftime Robert Saleh adjusted. But to start the game, the Upton Stout blitzes were working perfectly. How are you feeling about the game? Okay. Michael Williams, I said 49ers were 26-14 to start the fourth quarter. So really there was a bit of a defensive collapse in the fourth quarter. They had 4 penalties. The 49ers defense did not have a single penalty in the first half, and then had 4 penalties in that fourth quarter that really gave the Saints life and allowed Spencer Rattler, credit to him, to kind of come back and make the game really close at the end until the the 49ers defense really shut it out, because then at the end, the 49ers offense went 3 and out. We'll go through some of the highlights of the game. So to start the game, you might not take away from how much praise I've given, because the reason I'm giving praise is because going 2-0, winning both of your games, one of them being an in-division game, both of them being road games, like that is important. You need to stack games, especially when you're out your starting quarterback, especially when you're out your starting tight end. By the way, Jake Tonjes and Luke Farrell caught a touchdown. Both tight ends played great today. Luke Farrell also played with Mac Jones in Jacksonville, so they had a little bit of chemistry there. But so even though I'm giving a lot of praise, they actually looked horrible, especially on offense. To start the game, both offenses played, it was almost like a preseason game. The defenses were pitching like a shutout. Meanwhile, the offenses looked completely awful. I said, looked like a preseason game. On the very first possession for the 49ers, Mac Jones threw three straight incompletions, went 3 and out, gave the ball back. Spencer Rattler and the Saints weren't doing any better. The only thing that was working for either team was when the Saints threw to Alvin Kamara, who, by the way, I thought like retired like 3 seasons ago. I thought he was like 80 years old. Obviously, I didn't think he was 80 years old, but in running back years, he looked really good. He definitely slowed down. I think you could see his age as the game went on. He became way less effective. But to start the first and even a bit of the second quarter, but definitely the first, the only positive plays that the Saints were making were when Alvin Kamara would take off, or when Spencer Rattler himself took off and ran a couple times. On the opposite end, same thing with the 49ers. They could not get the passing game going. Mac Jones had a really slow start. Christian McCaffrey looked really impressive. He had a couple runs for like 7 yards, 10 yards to start. He ended up averaging only 4.2 yards per carry in the run game. But I think that's just because as the game went on, he slowed down quite a bit. He did get involved in the receiving game, even catching a receiving touchdown. And that's definitely how you need to utilize Christian McCaffrey for the best of him to come out. He's no longer as powerful in the run game. Like I said, to start the game he was, but he slows down. You can see the age in that. What was that? Oh, okay. Anyways, I think hopefully it's okay. I get nervous because when I was in Seattle, there was a Seahawks fan that was really scary, but everyone here has been so absolutely wonderful. I really love New Orleans. So to start the game, both offenses looked awful. Then Mac eventually had some really awesome long throws. Like, it's been a while since we've been seeing Brock Purdy consistently taking shots deep down the field. Like, you'll see a couple throws throughout the game, but the majority of his passes are like 5 to 10 yards. Mac Jones had like at least 7 25 plus yards down the field, which was, I think like he had 2 to 3 each quarter. He connected with Ricky Pearsall in the first quarter, and that kind of really started amping him up. And then that's when he had that touchdown to Luke Farrell. He had chemistry with Luke Farrell, playing with Luke Farrell in Jacksonville. Then Eddie Pinheiro, the brand new kicker that they just signed, waltzed out after this touchdown. You're thinking, finally, no more Jake Moody. We don't have to think about it. Bam, he misses a kick. I swear to God, Kyle Shanahan must have brought him back into the locker room and said, listen here, buddy. We didn't draft you in the 3rd round. We have zero loyalty to you. If you miss a single kick again, if you miss a single field goal, a single extra point, we are shipping you out of here, immediately cutting you. And to Eddie's credit, went on to make 2 extra field goals for 3 points each, and then made all of his extra kicks after that. But it was just really funny to have the very first kick after cutting Jake Moody be a missed kick. It was just like, oh, you're cursed, 49ers. So the 49ers end the quarter 6-0 to start, and you're kind of thinking like, damn, this football game sucks. 6-0 is not that impressive. We'll see what happens. Saints continue to not be able to pass. They committed a ton of penalties. Mac Jones ended up getting the ball back after the Saints went 3-0. Him and Christian McCaffrey really took over the second quarter with 4.2 yards per carry. But in that first and second half, his rushes were for like 7 and 10 yards. Second half makes that look a little bit less impressive than it initially was. As Mac Jones starts heating up, throws the ball deep down the field to Ricky, then next pass is to Jake Condrence, ends up not being able to score in the red zone. Kicker comes out, actually makes his kick this time. 49ers are then 9-0. Saints, like I said, were horrible. They sucked. So before the half, with like 1:30 to score, and the 49ers love to do this. If they win the coin toss, they like to defer, and that way they can get the ball back after halftime, and have a chance to what Kyle calls double up, which means if they can, they like to score right before halftime, go into halftime, get the ball, and get another chance to score before the opposing team even gets the ball. So they actually did do that. Mac Jones, with 1:30 left, passes the ball 39 yards downfield to Jauan Jennings. Then after that, Mac Jones throws the ball to Christian McCaffrey straight into the end zone, and the 49ers keep the lead. They're now 16-7. So that was going into halftime, 16-7. It was kind of interesting because when you hear that score, it doesn't seem as dominant as like the eye test would. The eye test told you the Saints were horrible, they weren't doing anything, and the 49ers were starting to get a ton of momentum going. The reason it looked so bad was that missed kick that Eddie had to start, and then just the really slow Mac Jones start. But once they were rolling, you could kind of tell that the two teams were in different classes, which is good and how it should be, because the Saints, once again, do not play like an NFL team. So if you look like you're on par with the Saints, you are playing badly. After halftime, 49ers come back. Hold on, I'm on the wrong side of my notes. After halftime, 49ers come back. Mac Jones looked great. He was at that point 15 of 23 passing. He scrambled, had thrown for 2 touchdowns right before the half. Second half, 49ers spread the ball around to Ricky Pearsall. Christian McCaffrey runs. They get the ball to Kendrick Bourne for his first catch back with the 49ers. This is where I did ask Grant, I was like, hey, why is Kendrick Bourne out there and Jordan Watkins isn't? Jordan Watkins is a speedy, slim, deep threat, and Kendrick Bourne is a 30-year-old wide receiver who obviously has history with the 49ers, but I would think that Jordan Watkins could be more effective, especially Mac Jones. We saw it today. He does have a really strong, powerful arm when he wants to get it. Maybe strong is not the... He threw with a lot of power. I know people kind of talk about Mac Jones having a noodle arm, and maybe, I definitely feel like when he was with the Patriots, you saw a little bit of that, but he performed really well today. And this is right outside the Superdome, by the way. I thought that the 49ers should have had Jordan Watkins out there. He's younger, rookie. To me, get him some chemistry with this quarterback who he's been playing with, because you have to know in mini camp and in training camp, Jordan Watkins and Mac Jones were practicing together with the second team. So I thought it was kind of weird that Kendrick Bourne was out there over him, but the response was just that, Kyle doesn't like rookies, and if you get hurt during camp, you're going to go into the doghouse, and there's nothing you can do about that. So that was a bit of a bummer, but that, didn't really have to do with the game, just Kyle's overall decision making. So then 49ers, they get 3 after the pass to Kendrick Bourne. They can't score in the red zone, but they do get it all the way over there. Eddie Pinheiro nails another field goal. Saints get the ball back, and then Fred Warner, who, like I said, was a badass, had 11 tackles in the game. He forced a fumble. 49ers get the ball back in their own territory. Jones has a 25-yard pass to Jauan Jennings, and the 49ers go up, touchdown to Jennings, and 49ers go up 26-14 early in the fourth quarter. And you're kind of like, okay, this game's over. It's a bit of a blowout. Like I said, start the game, both offenses look terrible. Mac Jones really gets in a flow, and then the 49ers kind of look unstoppable because they're scoring and the Saints can't do shit. By the way, I hope the sound is okay. I thought it'd be fun to do it outside the Superdome. but I'll definitely try to do a recap on my laptop as well, where I have my microphone and everything. Oh, I'm losing my notes. Losing my notes. Hold on. Can I set this phone somewhere? No. Okay. Let me set these down here. Getting to the end of the game. Okay, so then fourth quarter starts, and this is where defensive penalties become a huge problem. And the 49ers just start giving the Saints, opportunity after opportunity to score because they're going on third downs and then they're not getting off the field. And Spencer Rattler is actually making them pay for it for the first time all game. So gets really close towards the end of the fourth quarter. Like I said, okay, so Upton Stout, he had a horrible penalty. D. Winters, who was a baller all game, he had the third most tackles. It was Fred Warner with 11 tackles, Nick Bosa with 9 tackles, and D. Winters with 8 tackles. D. Winters was doing his best Troy Greenlaw impression. Holy shit, he looked like a monster all over the field, tackling, he had an incredible game, but he had a late hit out of bounds. It was so a freaking Troy Greenlaw move that I'm just like, dude, you do not need... When they said embody Troy Greenlaw, they did not mean penalties and all. They just meant the physicality and the line, lines. I like to walk the line, don't jump over the line. And they were doing a lot of line jumping there with those penalties. Upton Stout and D. Winters with really bad penalties in the fourth quarter. Then 49ers go 3 and out when they get the ball back. Saints have the ball with 1 minute and 3 seconds left, and you're like, okay, they could score here, and that would, mess everything up, and the 49ers would lose. Bryce Huff ends up forcing a turnover on downs with the help of Michael Williams. It was such a good game. At the very end, I want to say it was Nick Bosa, he had a sack, and then Bryce Huff had a turnover on downs on the last 2 possessions that the Saints had. But on both of those possessions, Michael was in the backfield, really helping. Like, he was one of the reasons that Spencer Rattler ran straight into Nick Bosa, and Nick Bosa was able to get a sack. And then on the turnover and downs that Bryce Huff had, Michael Williams was also right there in the backfield. So the 3 of them get game balls defensively. They did wonderful. To come out of the game injury-wise, Kyle Juszczyk had a concussion. Ben Barch left the game early on with an ankle injury. People really championed him coming into this season. I said it was a bad idea. I know that the Packers did, overpay Aaron Banks, but the thing about Aaron Banks is that he's healthy. And he, I think, missed a total of 1 to 2 games his entire 4 years with the 49ers. Ben Barch has stayed healthy for 1 single game last year, or he's played 1 single game and then gotten injured. Never has he played 2 games without getting injured. Connor Colby came in as backup for Ben Barch and actually played pretty well. And that's 7th round draft pick from this year. So good for Connor Colby, but bad move for the 49ers kind of relying on Ben Barch. Let me see, what else were my takeaways? I had the linebacker tackles in here, where I said Fred Warner 11 tackles, Nick Bosa having a defensive player of the year, maybe, if he keeps this up. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but he had 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 9 tackles. I said Bryce Huff and Michael Williams came up big at the end of the game. Trent Williams played really bad on the offensive line. Last game, week 1, he left the game, went into the medical tent, and then came back after the game. Kyle said there was no injury, so we didn't get an update on that, but then Trent Williams almost did not play in this game. He was a limited participant in both Thursday and Friday's practices at the end of the week, and it was unknown if he was going to play. He did play, but he played poorly, and he also left the game and went into the medical tent, but came back. We don't know what's wrong with Trent Williams yet, and that scares me. Kyle Shanahan has not updated the media on what's going on with Trent, but he's played 2 games and been one of the worst offensive linemen on the field. Offensive line did not do great. Like I said, Ben Barch got hurt. Connor Colby did okay in his place. Jake Brendel. Colton McKivitz had a penalty, and The fumble that I put on Mac Jones earlier, it actually went on Colton McKivitt's record, but I thought it was more Mac Jones's fault. Colton eventually let his defensive guy beat him, but Mac was holding onto the ball far too long, and then it kind of fell out of his hands. And like I said, they put it on Colton McKivitt's, but I thought it was a little bit more Mac's fault than McKivitt's, but still not great by McKivitt's. And then Trent Williams allowed 10 pressures last game, 6 pressures this game. That's just not Hall of Fame Trent Williams. That's not, you know, the reputation that he is used to, or the caliber he's used to playing. Anyways, though, like I said, 49ers win. That's all that matters, is they're leaving New Orleans with a W, 26-21. Not exactly the score. That's a really close game to play with the Saints, who, like I said, aren't great. But you take a win, especially when it's with your backup quarterback. And Mac Jones throwing for almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like, you got to give. That's a hell of a game for Mac. If he does have to play next week against the Cardinals, this really helps my confidence with Mac. It should help his confidence too. Way to go, him. You know, I didn't know what to expect out of him. Obviously, we know a lot of people, it's rumored that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones coming out of the draft, but he had that really good first year with the Patriots and then looked really bad with the Patriots. And even last year with Jacksonville, talk about confidence. He looked like he had none. Now, obviously, Jacksonville doesn't have great pass catchers and a great offensive line, but with all the injuries on the offense for the 49ers, I was like, I don't know how much better it's going to be. He played much better, especially once he got in a rhythm. Really slow start, and I was like, damn, dude, Mac, you don't look any better than Spencer Rattler. What the heck is happening? I want to say about 5 to 10 minutes into the first quarter, he really warmed up, had multiple passes to Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Kendrick Bourne that were all 20 to 25 plus yards. That really helped put the 49ers in position to score. And way to go to Mac, and way to go me. Like I said, I met some fans today, and it overwhelmed me with joy. When I meet people, you know, beat reporters, I met Matt Mayoko hiking in San Francisco one time, Jesse Naylor, all those people. I get excited, so when someone recognized me, it made me, it warmed my heart. It was great to meet you guys. New Orleans has been great. I'm not leaving till Tuesday because the plane tickets getting out of here were so expensive. I'll definitely be going live and recapping this on my channel, so please like and subscribe. Really appreciate you guys. Rate Mac Jones' performance. I want to give it, I want to say A-, because he had that forced fumble and a slow start. A-, B+ for Mac Jones. Rate how you think he did in the comments, and if your confidence in him, if he has to go against the Cardinals, has risen. Thank you guys so much. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, and a comment. Bye.